normal when you don't have light at night to read books, without time and access to water to irrigate your farm, or the ability to catch fish and feed your family. That can't be true. Now that applies to 80% of South Africa. So we've got a job to make sure that all of South Africa's citizens are free, and the most important part of the freedom must start here. Oftentimes, many of us say, well, I'm getting on with the business of study. I need to pass my degree so that I can also join the rhetoric. The truth is, there are studies all over the world. The most beautiful book that wrote on the subject is called The Spirit Level. You know, those of you who grew up at the time when they were still using a spirit level to measure how straight the wall was, would know that it's a very potent method. Wilkinson Richards and his wife Kate wrote this book having looked at countries across the world. And they found that countries that were most equal had the least crime. People have had very long lives in those countries. And the countries tended to have sustainable economic growth and greater happiness. Now, if you look around South Africa, you tell me whether we fit that bill. We are the most unequal society that has been measured in the world. This is a scandal, because the whole freedom struggle was a struggle for equality. And yet, we've never been more unequal. And part of it has to do with the fact that education has failed to be the ladder to take people out of poverty. When I look at Mandela, he came from a very poor background, but he ended up where he did. Tambo, Sisulu, all of them. I mean, I'm sitting here because I managed to get an education. Otherwise, I would have had 12 children and I don't know how many grandchildren, and sitting somewhere in Bochum, wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. So we need to understand that our freedom is not enough if the rest of South Africa is not fair. Our freedom is at risk. That's why we live behind higher and higher walls, because of this inequality. But we South Africans are very hopeful and very resilient people. I know that if we put our minds to something, we get it. People didn't think that we could ever succeed to overthrow the apartheid system. We did. We can overcome. Because this one is a no-brainer. We have all the natural resources you can imagine, mineral resources you can imagine, human resources. Do you know that we have the youngest population so far in the whole world? The proportion of South Africans under 34 is close to over 50%, close to 50%. Now imagine what you can do with this young population. Europe can only salivate because they are aging continent. We are a young, exuberant continent, a young country. Everything here. What's missing is leadership. And that leadership starts with you. We need to make sure that we are fully appraised of our rights and responsibilities as citizens and commit to making sure that those values of our Constitution, human dignity, equality, and freedom, come alive in the lives of everybody. I am appalled when I hear that students fight on campus because they don't want different viewpoints to be aired. That if you don't belong to this organization, you dare not appear on the forum. Hello, this is a place where you should be learning to be a citizen of a constitutional democracy. And part of that is being able to listen to others so that they can listen to you. And then you may be convinced by them, but maybe not. But that doesn't make you an enemy. It should make you proud to live in a society which is united in its diversity, including diversity of views, which is why you need to really work on that thing upstairs. Because if we do, then we will be able to really enjoy living. That these golden threads of these values will really bind us together. And they will be like rivers that course through our shared culture, nourishing us. Instead of us being very unwelcoming to strangers, particularly African strangers. We have a particular problem with African foreign nationals because I think it's a problem to ourselves. We never question someone we meet in the street who's white, but we dare be dark. So we need to bring the principles in our democracy or democratic constitution aligned. And that is really what got me out of my slippers at